I am so grateful that you guys chose to spend your morning with me. We're going to dive into, if you guys came here for 5 marketing automations, every mortgage broker should know. I'm sorry, that's not what we're talking about today. We won't go into like how that changed or why that changed. But at the end of the day, what we're talking about today is something very similar. We will touch on a couple specific marketing automations for mortgage brokers. We're talking about the HighLevel platform today. Who in here is current? I'm going to get like a couple questions here. Who in here is currently using HighLevel in their business? Hell yeah. All right. Who in here has heard of HighLevel but is not using it in their business right now? Okay. And who in here, this is the first time you've ever heard of HighLevel? Money. Awesome. All right. That's a lie. All right. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump right in, guys. I'm going to turn this on because I need to do that. Awesome. All right, my name is Michael McAllister. I started out as a loan officer in 2016, and I got out of the business, candidly, like 2019, got back in for about a year in 2021. But my path, essentially, if you guys, this is a real Facebook post from April of 2018, when basically I said, screw it, I'm done working with real estate agents. You guys can find me at my marketing company, okay? So essentially, I learned how to generate leads online for my mortgage business using Google Ads. If you guys have heard of Empower Funnels or Empower LO, that's my company. My team is here. We're here representing HighLevel for mortgage pros, but Empower LO, like that's us. So I started that back in 2018 after building the system essentially for myself. And in the process of doing that, I needed to learn how to work internet leads at a high level. Those of you guys that have worked internet leads before, you know, especially back in 2017, this was really a losing like business model, buying leads at least, right? Because at the end of the day, you were competing with Rocket, Veterans United, and call centers that had technology that none of us had access to, which was the ability to get in contact with leads while they were still on the thank you page. That was ultimately like what the name of the game was for Rocket and why they were, you know, eating all of our breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, so again, this is just kind of show you guys. I know that there's a lot of people in here that are a lot more successful than I ever was as an originator, but I did originate, like I do have that background, and I've stayed in the mortgage industry. We only serve the mortgage industry. I have a huge passion for the mortgage industry. I just don't have a passion for closing loans, specifically working with real estate agents. I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that. Anybody in here remember Agent Legend? Did anybody in here use? Okay, so Agent Legend is how I got my start with marketing automation, and that's really what unlocked the ability to use internet leads as a business model for my business. Now, today's presentation is not necessarily about internet leads. We're gonna fly through the references to internet leads, but it's a big part of my DNA, and so we got to touch on it. So Agent Legend allowed us to send ringless voicemails, pre-recorded voicemails, text messages, and emails at an automated cadence until the lead responded, and then it would notify us. It had no CRM functionality built into it. It wasn't a CRM. They'd argue with you if you called it a CRM because they didn't want to be known as a CRM. But it unlocked internet leads as a business model for a lot of people, myself included. And so what I want to kind of highlight here is like our progression and our experience with different CRMs, because when I come up here and I tell you guys that HighLevel is the best possible CRM that you guys could implement in your business today, I want you guys to know that's coming from a place of experiencing a lot of other options, and also a place like you won't find an affiliate link in here. I'm not trying to sell you guys anything other than HighLevel is the greatest thing that you could have in your mortgage business today, okay? So Agent Legend was followed up by SalesPipe. SalesPipe was essentially an insurance agent that loved Agent Legend but hated that it didn't have a CRM. So he hired a development team in Bangladesh, and they put Agent Legend inside of a really basic CRM. So we use that. That's actually what we launched a lot of our clients on originally. I think our first 3 or 4 clients we launched on Agent Legend, and then we moved over to SalesPipe. It was about 2019. It was late 2018, early 2019 that we came into contact with HighLevel for the first time. 2019, before we had moved everybody over from SalesPipe to HighLevel. My timeline's a little messed up here, but that's because I have experience with other platforms as well. ActiveCampaign is what we used for EmpowerLO for the first few years. If you guys are familiar with ActiveCampaign, also MLO Shift was built on ActiveCampaign. One of our earliest clients and biggest clients for a long time used MLO Shift, and that was hit like he wouldn't go away from that. So we got a lot of experience with ActiveCampaign and MLO Shift as well. Zoho CRM we switched over to as an agency in 2021. Zoho, I mean, I got a lot of love in my heart for Zoho. Zoho did a lot for our business. We just got off of Zoho CRM a few months ago because HighLevel's capabilities have really caught up to the point of not needing some of the advanced stuff we used with Zoho. But we would definitely consider ourselves Zoho power users. I know a couple of my employees and me have done side projects for companies building out Zoho CRM as well. So very familiar with that, but ultimately HighLevel, starting that in 2019 with our clients. In 2022, we moved all of our marketing over to it, and we were only using Zoho for administrative, like tracking our relationships with client, like a true client relationship manager. And then it was this year that we ultimately, like, the end of Zoho CRM for us. Yeah. All right, so HighLevel's development over that time is ultimately obviously why we were able to pull away from these other tools that we were using to manage our agency, and why we have gone all in on HighLevel within the mortgage industry. So from 2019 to 2022, we used HighLevel exclusively for our consumer direct lead generation service. So we used it to help loan officers follow up with and convert internet leads. And so the reason why we used it is because of the ringless voicemail, text messages, emails, really clean workflow builder that allowed us to create logic for all these different, scenarios, different types of internet leads. And honestly, selfishly, from an agency owner standpoint, it allowed me to keep tabs on our loan officers and make sure that, like, if they were complaining about lead quality, that they were actually working the leads, right? Spoiler alert, most of them weren't. But that's what we used it for. That's all we used it for, okay? In 2021, HighLevel raised $60 million of funding from private equity, which is kind of a scary moment for us because if you guys know, like, I've heard the horror stories about private equity and what it's done to businesses. Like, we didn't know exactly what was going to happen with HighLevel, what direction it was going to go in, whether or not that was going to be a positive thing. But in late 2022, we recognized at that point, like, that really was a positive thing. Their development cycle sped up. They started implementing features that nobody else was even talking about. And their support really, really leveled up as well, at least for us as an agency. And so it was late 2022 that we identified, like, okay, this has some staying power, and honestly, like, this has a chance to be better than any CRM that's in the mortgage industry. And so what we did is we rolled out our white labeled version of HighLevel at that point, called it EmpowerLO, because we're not very creative. So we just named it what our company is named, right? So EmpowerLO is our white labeled version of HighLevel, and we rolled that out in late 2022. In 2023, I recognized, like, this is gonna be even bigger than EmpowerLO, bigger than, if you guys have heard of other ones out there, Rad CRM, Cerberus, LO Ninja. I talked to somebody about this morning. I think there's the originator's guide is here here at Fuse, and we recognized yesterday they're using HighLevel too. Like, so many companies are using HighLevel, and it's bigger than all of us. It's bigger than all of us combined, and we recognize this. And what I identified in early 2023 is that ultimately this is going to have the chance to, like, unearth legacy CRMs in the mortgage industry from, like, an enterprise level. Like, mortgage companies are going to want to build their own versions of HighLevel and use this as an alternative to legacy CRMs because of the amount of functionality, the amount of, like, the cost model, all this stuff. And so we launched HighLevel for Mortgage Pros as a Facebook community, not only to help loan officers that were using all these different white labels and kind of bring them all together, but also to start to build out that vision as well. It wasn't until 2024 that we monetized that at all, and it was with a course, a HighLevel for Mortgage Pros course that we put together. We spent a lot of time on. Some of you guys in here I know have gone through that course. That was really our first monetization of that at all. And so again, I say all of this because ultimately, like, our business is Empower LO, and our business is also doing custom build outs for mortgage companies that want to use HighLevel. Our business is not selling HighLevel to individual loan officers like we're talking to in this room, but I'm an evangelist for the cause. I love HighLevel. I think HighLevel is the greatest thing in the mortgage, like, greatest technology you can have in your mortgage business, and so that's ultimately why we're here. All right, so we went through kind of our 3 different categories, right? So we know that the 3 different categories you can be in if you're in here right now is you're either exploring HighLevel and you've never, well, actually there's a 4th one, you've never heard of it and you got suckered in because you thought we were going to talk about 5 marketing automations everybody could use. So 4 different categories, that's number 1. Number 2 is you're exploring HighLevel, you're curious about it, you've never actually used it. Number 3 is, see, now I'm screwed up. Number 3 is you're just starting out, right? As in you use it, you're dabbling, you have a HighLevel account, either through your company or through a white label, one of those CRMs I mentioned or other ones, through a marketing agency, whatever it is. You know you could get more out of it, but you're curious as to how. And then the last category would be you're an advanced user, you're already a power user. Either way, we want you to be able to get something from this. So I designed this presentation to make sure no matter which of those categories you're in, that you're going to get something from this. So why are we here though? Why are we talking about a company that has nothing to do with a mortgage, with the mortgage industry in a breakout room at AIME Fuse? Well, the reason why is because CRMs in the mortgage industry have failed us ultimately, right? CRMs in the mortgage industry, we all know this cycle. And this cycle is essentially we get excited about some new CRM. This new CRM has some crazy feature that nobody has ever either seen before or their CRM doesn't have or whatever it is. So we get really excited about it. And then step 2, we onboard and we try and learn the platform. At best, we have some YouTube videos to go through or an hour-long onboarding or whatever it is, but little to no community, little to no instruction or direction, et cetera. Step 3 is the frustration phase. And if we're lucky, we've got a honeymoon phase in between those 2, right? If we're lucky, our shit worked for a couple weeks, a couple months maybe, and maybe even in some cases a year or more. But inevitably, we reach a point in time where that CRM has stopped growing, but we haven't, right? And so what happens is we reach the frustration phase where now nothing's working the way that we want it to because we can't make adjustments to it on the fly. We can't, the feature development didn't keep up. And so now, email marketing, all my emails are going to spam and I have no way to text people or I have no way to add people to my dial list or whatever it is. So we reach this frustration phase where if you're not fully adopting your CRM, your CRM becomes worthless pretty freaking fast. And so that's when you start turning off any automations that you have, any communications you have. You start turning all that stuff off because it's no longer a representation of you and your business, right? And so that's that frustration phase. Next, you're gonna head over into the burnout phase, which is where essentially, I call this the recycle phase. It shouldn't be called the burnout phase. It's like the do it all over again phase because while you're in that frustration phase, you see some new shiny CRM on the market and you go, oh, okay, cool, let's do this again. And you just basically go through all 3 of those phases all over again. So that's why we're here and that's why I'm here is I witnessed that. I was a part of that, right? And so ultimately, if it wasn't for that, a lot of you guys wouldn't be in this room. Okay? HighLevel, why is HighLevel different? Why is HighLevel a solution to this? Well, HighLevel is a solution to this because HighLevel, like I said before, is bigger than the mortgage industry. It's bigger than any of these CRM companies, including Empower LO, that are launching and selling this as a service, right? It's bigger than all of that, right? It's $60 million in funding. That was their first round of funding. They've raised another round of $50 million plus since then. Okay, HighLevel is huge, and so what we've seen with HighLevel and ultimately why we are so bullish on HighLevel, I say this all the time, we're not betting on HighLevel today as it is today. HighLevel today is freaking awesome, but what we're betting on is HighLevel's trajectory because we've been aligned with HighLevel since 2019, so we've seen them add feature after feature and through trend after trend, see them not only keep up, but establish trends as well. And in the mortgage industry, we're so used to being 10 years behind digital marketing trends that's weird for us. That's not something that we're used to. And so that ultimately is what I'm representing here is You know, it was 2022 when they rolled out their social planner that integrates with all the social media, like all the social media platforms that you could possibly want to use, okay? 2023, Conversations AI came out. That was their chatbot builder. June of 2023 is when HighLevel rolled out their chatbot builder. Like, think about that. That's over 2 years ago, okay? March of 2023 is when ChatGPT 4.0 came out. And so it wasn't even like November of 2022, none of us were talking about ChatGPT. And 6 months later, or 8 months later, HighLevel has a chatbot builder. Pretty freaking crazy, okay? August of 2023, HighLevel rolled out Communities, basically community building platform. How many of you guys have heard of School? Okay? How many of you guys have heard that online communities is like the next frontier for digital marketing? Okay? Like, HighLevel's been had their community product, and as well as like a members area, like a learning management area where you can add courses and stuff since August of 2023. Okay, so they've been doing this for a while. Content AI got integrated in October of 2023. So what's Content AI? The ability to create create emails and images inside your CRM, be it for emails or social media posts or anything like that, without even going to ChatGPT. You can do that inside of HighLevel, and you've been able to do that since October of 2023. Okay? So over the last couple of years, I just didn't have room to add more stuff. I called it expansion and refinement, but it's crazy the stuff that HighLevel has rolled out and like built out over the last couple of years. Voice AI is one that's super popular right now. So up until a couple weeks ago, you couldn't use voice AI for outbound calls, but you can now use it for outbound calls as well. So not only can you have an AI voice receptionist that'll transfer the call to you if the client asks for it, or transfer it to somebody else on your team if you set it up that way. But now you can have this voice AI call your outbound leads, so no more ringless voicemails. You can call your leads with an AI that offers to book an appointment on your calendar directly. And by the way, that calendar that they book on, that's inside your HighLevel account. You don't need Calendly. You just you just do it inside the built-in appointment scheduling tool. Yeah. So what does this mean for you guys? Well, a couple things. Number one, it means you can simplify your tech stack immensely, infinitely, right? It means being able to have every tool that you need besides your point of sale and loan origination software, your POS and LOS. It means being able to have all of those inside of one login, one portal. That's massive. I cannot overstate how impactful that is on your business, where you're not spending time learning new tools, jumping in and out of tools, et cetera. It means infinite scalability. We won't go too far into this because like I said, 30 minutes goes super, super fast. But HighLevel's cost model is such that that using this for your brokerage, using this for like a big team, a large team, is so cost effective. The maximum subscription level that HighLevel has is $500 a month, and that gives you unlimited accounts and unlimited users in those accounts, and then you just pay wholesale costs for the usage. And so that's why you see mortgage brokers turning around and starting a CRM every 2 weeks, it seems like nowadays, right? Is because it's very, very cost effective. It's almost too easy. The barrier to entry to like launch your own HighLevel instance is very, very low. Now, I'm not advocating that you go out and do that if you're an individual LO by any means, but I will say like it's very, very cost effective, and if you look at it the right way, it can mean a lot for your business. Adapt to anything. This goes back to that timeline and the trajectory that I was talking about. I'm betting on the fact that I'm not gonna have to learn a new software in a year. And what does that mean? That means I can go all in on learning this one, and that I can stay in tune with all of the developments from this one. And I don't have to have my ears perked up every time somebody else is talking about a CRM, because I know I've got no reason to consider it, that the platform that I'm on has not only kept up with trends, but they've set trends and set me up for success in my business. Okay. All right, so a couple real use cases to how brokers and brokerages are using HighLevel in their business right now. Okay. Number one, enterprise level CRM, right? Bare minimum functionality for a CRM in the mortgage industry is what? Link up to my LOS, send out milestone notifications, emails, text messages, and remind me when it's time for me to follow up with the leads, right? Like that's bare minimum functionality in the CRM, in a mortgage industry CRM, and that is 100% doable no matter what anybody tells you. We build out integrations for Arrive, LendingPad, we've done it for Encompass, Encino. The HighLevel has the most open API of any CRM you've experienced in the mortgage industry, bar none, okay? And that means a lot as far as legacy workflows and being able to replicate what you've done with the traditional CRM inside of HighLevel. But obviously, we want to be able to do so much more than that. So where else do we go with this? Well, number one, like leverage is the name of the game for me. I love, like leverage is my favorite word, period. Like I love leverage. I love leverage through technology. I love leverage through technology more than I love leverage through people. I've gone through shit with my team over the last 5 years that makes me like prefer leverage with technology over leverage with people. And so leverage is awesome, and being able to create content once and repurpose it 100 times, like that's leverage, right? So if you're a team owner, a broker owner, whatever, what this means for you is being able to create content once for your business and templatize it in a way that you can push it to all of your LO's accounts with a couple clicks of a button, right? We've got First Coast in the room, and this is something that we work on heavily with these guys. Katie is their creative director, and Katie spends a lot of her time building out content for the LOs that then she's able to just push into their accounts. Some of them want to say in what goes out, and some of them don't. Some of it, she's just pushing it into their account, sending it out on their behalf. All of them have the ability to log in and change whatever they want to change because it's that easy to interact with. And that's a big, big piece of what's possible with HighLevel. Now, if you're an individual LO, the fact that you can use the social planner and create a post once and post it on 7 different social media sites is crazy. The fact that you can do that using content that you created with AI without ever leaving HighLevel, even crazier, right? So massive, massive leverage. The last thing I'll bring up is RSS feed integration. There's not a lot of people out there that use this, but it's a very under-tapped feature in my opinion, which is the ability to write a blog and then use that blog to create social media posts automatically and send emails to your database automatically. And you can do that through what's called an RSS feed. We've got a client out in Connecticut that does this really, really well. So RSS feed integration is another big one. Okay. This is my bread and butter, right? This is, and we'll send this presentation out. I realize the text is small, and I've got a couple graphics in here that I couldn't spend as much time as I wanted to on, so we'll send this out so that you guys get a copy of this. By the way, before you guys leave, if you guys didn't register to win the DJI content creation bundle, that's the like contact information we'll use to send out this presentation. So make sure you stop by. One of us in the back with the Ask Me About HighLevel t-shirts. Stop by back there, scan the QR code, register, and within the next couple hours, we'll reach out to whoever won and reach out to the rest of you guys later with that presentation. Okay? So internet leads. Now this used to look like lead comes in, automated follow-up system goes out, and then as soon as the lead responds, that's when the LO gets involved. That's what it looked like for years. From 2017 until 2023, 2024, that's what that looked like. But now, because of the bot builders inside of HighLevel and how freaking powerful and advanced they are, now this looks like lead gets added to the system from any source imaginable, by the way. Like I said, open API, more open than any CRM you've ever used. New lead gets added to the system, automated follow-up system goes out. That's text messages, emails, voicemails, or your voice AI bot, or videos, all that stuff, right? Then once they respond, it's your bot that's engaging with the lead, and that bot is working to get that lead booked on your calendar. So again, this is internet leads. I do not recommend this flow for referrals from real estate agents. You're gonna piss some people off real quick. But for internet leads is a very, very like high volume, low impact touch play. And so this is a really, really effective way to do that, more effective than what we've seen in years. Okay? And then they book directly on your calendar, which again lives in HighLevel as well. And so you can trigger all sorts of automations off of that calendar booking if they show up, if they reschedule, if they cancel, all of that stuff built inside the same platform. Okay? Another one of my favorites here, visibility reporting. Okay, this is for all of you leaders out here, whether it's like just a production team or you're leading a bunch of LOs. by unifying all communication channels into one platform, you get visibility into their full conversation and full experience, the client experience from end to end. And so you see every interaction, every email they get, every text message they get, every engagement in there. The LOs use this as their business phone number. And so if you're in a single party consent state, you're recording those phone calls even and getting transcriptions where you can trigger automations based on keywords that come through in that transcription, like crazy, crazy stuff. And that's visibility on that end. But then also we have dashboards and gamified leaderboards and the ability to set up custom dashboards for production volume and all of that stuff, right? At the end here, again, you can't really see it that well, but that's like a consumer direct dashboard that we have together for somebody where they can see the number of leads they've received, the number of appointments they booked, the number of apps they've received, all of that stuff within minutes. Very, very easy to set up on your own. In fact, this one right here, this middle one has like, you can't see it, but it says like year-to-date volume rankings and projected close volume this month and all that. That's something that our client built on our own without any help from us. And then this one is out of the box, ready to go. This is an agent report that breaks down your activity, text messages, emails, phone calls, amount of time spent on those phone calls, won opportunities, and breaks it down into a leaderboard against anybody else in your account. Okay, so last thing that I have for you guys, AI makes it possible for everyone. If anything that I talked about today seemed like it was too overwhelming, you can't see yourself building out a workflow, HighLevel has changed the game with this. I was just talking to Jason Kindler from First Coast earlier this morning about the workflow AI builder and how he was able to build out a follow-up campaign for his coaching business with just a couple sentences in the workflow AI builder, go in and edit the content a little bit, but it wrote the emails for him, it wrote the text messages for him, it set the cadence for him, it created the logic for him, all of that stuff with just a couple sentences in here. Same thing, the email builder builds out beautiful templates for you. And then it has content AI and now even the funnel and website builder as well. And so HighLevel continues to invest in these AI tools that make teams like ours less and less relevant, but that's all right. We'll figure out what we need to do to stay relevant. In the meantime, it makes things a lot easier for you guys. Guys, thank you so much. Before, how much time do I have? Like 2 minutes? 1 minute? 1 minute. Any questions that you guys want to ask? Otherwise, I'll be around all day. The team will be around all day. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Join the community if you're using HighLevel. It's completely free. If you're not, and you're interested in our done for you, like you don't want to build out your own HighLevel, then we've got that option for you guys as well. Thank you guys.